Unfortunately.
So I can't
Well,
do,
no.
I can't do chat.
Well, you can on your phone.
Oh.
That's no, don't go away. Don't go away, dear. Don't go away. So that's got to go back. It physically has to go back more. What can we?
Move the table.
That's not going to make any difference. It has to be further away from us.
Yes, you're going to stay where you are. I'm going to move the table.
It's not going to be any good. It might work, but it's not going to be.
Why don't we go be Satya? We'll get cozy.
There, you're in.
We're in, okay, and
Can I come down a bit?
people are probably. So we're live.
Yes.
Are we live right now?
Yeah, we have
Yes.
one person watching.
I'm sitting here fixing my cell phone
no, we
stuff.
are actually.
Technical difficulty, guys.
Just turn off the overhead light and see what. Doesn't matter. You put it back on. Somebody's there. Rob McNamara.
Hi,
Rob, can you hear me fine?
oh God, now you're gonna ask him.
Yeah, ask him to type. I have an answer.
He did actually.
Yeah,
put
he
something.
typed that. I have an answer for him already. Once he says yes or no.
Yeah, we had technical difficulty.
So we're not really sure what the hell happened. Only took 15 minutes to get on. Rob, fuck you.
Oh, and we talked about cursing beforehand. He's like, once I go live, I never curse.
No, I don't say never. I very rarely curse, but we don't know why. But the camera wouldn't work. The one that Rob and I used last week, which worked fine, isn't working at all tonight.
Yeah.
So we're just using the shitty little camera on the laptop. But anyway, thanks for tuning in, Rob. I want to take a couple minutes first and thank the members to our channel: Nicole Miles, Joey Thibodeau, Angela McNamara, Suryak Toast, Randy Snow, Alicia Snow, Kenny Snow, whole damn Snow family. We appreciate that. And Rick Pinkney. Appreciate the support, and it really does make a difference in what we can do in the channel. Obviously, it doesn't make any difference about live, so we may go back to me doing it delayed. I can film it wherever, just bring my camera and we'll record a show, and then I'll just make it premiere on Sunday nights, because this is a pain in the ass. Every week there's a new adventure and something new to overcome, and it isn't working. So it is easy to become a member of the channel. It costs $4.99 a month plus tax, and we really do appreciate the support. And this is by no means, Pauline,
I was like,
drive.
oh, this is good. I didn't even know that.
No,
so
that's what it is. So, as you can see, we're supposed to have 3 people tonight, but here in Nova Scotia, Atlantic Canada, we just went through a major hurricane that, thank you, Janice and I, escaped without even losing power. I know not everyone's going to like that. But Alicia Snow from Truro got hit really bad, a lot worse than Halifax, from what I'm hearing. And
she did.
on their property, her and Kenny Snow's property, and they have some cleanup to do and repairs.
And no power.
And they don't have power yet either?
No, I think a tree might have took out their watershed or something too. I'm not sure.
Oh, bummer. So we wish them well, even though I know they're not watching if they don't have any power. And they're probably not. I wouldn't sit at home if I had no power and watch this shit on my phone.
So, exactly. You never know.
Well, I'd have to be pretty bored. So anyway, so we do have tonight a veteran of Atlantic Canada Arm Wrestling, Angela McNamara, and somebody fairly new, just a couple of years in, Pauline Surkan.
Just over a year.
Just over a year?
Yeah.
Okay, so I thank these ladies for joining us, and this is going to drive me nuts until I fix this. I'm so sorry.
Perfect.
No, well, perfect. I'm in there, so it can't be perfect. What are you laughing about? We can see the chat.
Hello.
So anyway,
Alicia is watching.
I came to say hi on my dad.
Next time, Alicia.
Look, and we totally understand why you can't be here. I mean, like I said, Janice and I went through this with nothing. We didn't lose power. Our power flashed a couple times Friday night, and that's the worst that happened to us. So we're fine. I'm glad you guys are okay. It sucks that you have no power and you have repairs to do at home, but hopefully it come to an end soon for you. So we were going to have a roundtable discussion about the state of women's arm wrestling in Atlantic Canada and Canada, but now there's just two of them, so it won't be much of a roundtable, but we'll get some good ideas, I hope, and some good opinions. So I don't know how much you know about Canadian arm wrestling.
I'm getting to know a little bit, but I'm learning stuff all the time. So
Canada-
I'm going to be learning some stuff tonight too.
Probably Canada has a really deep, rich history in women's arm wrestling. We have had some amazing, truly amazing
Absolutely.
female arm wrestlers that you're aware of, but
I am.
Leanne Dufresne out of Quebec.
Do you
Just
know what? So I've pulled Sylvie.
you pulled
but
Sylvie Dufresne, yeah?
I did, but I've never met Leanne. So I was just literally coming in as she was probably going out.
Okay, so were you there when she got inducted into the Canadian Arm Wrestling Hall of Fame?
What year was that?
Oh, I don't remember. I would have thought that'd be the only time that your paths would cross because she retired before.
I don't think I did. Like I went to 2003 Nationals, but just for the first 10 years, I just watched Rob.
Oh, really? You didn't pull at
I
all?
didn't pull. I pulled one tournament, and I think it was in Churro. My very first matchup was Stacy Hill,
Oh,
who
shit.
came
Okay.
second in the world.
She came second at the Worlds in Ottawa
Gosh.
in 03. But
Yeah.
so we had Leanne Dufresne. She was just an incredible female arm wrestler back in the 80s and 90s. And at one time, there was nobody in the world that could beat her. And I know that the Americans they put Dot Jones up at the top of the heap. Leanne's the only person to have ever beaten Dot Jones, who was just an amazing arm wrestler herself. On this particular day, Leanne was better, and Leanne won the over-the-top tournament in the women.
Impressive.
Yeah, and some world titles.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love hearing that stuff.
Brenda Vergette from out west, she was a world champion as well. Nancy Locke from Ontario. I don't know if you knew Nancy at all.
Actually, those three that you just mentioned, I haven't heard about this girl, but
Brenda, okay.
Yeah, Nancy. I watched her latest. She's pretty intense. I actually loved watching her. She great in the hook.
Really is. It's because the WAL, she came back out and around.
And she put on a show. Good job, girl.
Oh, Nancy's a pretty
Good
amazing
job.
puller. Also from out west, Jose Morneau,
Well, yeah.
just a staple in Canadian arm wrestling for the past 15, I don't know how long I've known Jose, 15, 20 years.
Jose has
Long time.
been in-
Barb Schlegel, sometimes referred to as Barb Zalepa when she was married to Mark Zalepa. In her first year,
Yeah.
she came in
Anytime
and
I hear
dominated.
about Barb, all I consistently hear is, "Oh my God, what a hand!"
She had an incredible, you know what, and still does, even though she doesn't arm wrestle anymore.
Yeah.
When I've seen her hands are still, she has this
Yeah.
mitt on her.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tamara Mitz,
Yeah.
who you both know,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
World champion as well.
Yeah.
Just another amazing arm wrestler. And I can't name everybody. And then of course, Joyce King. What can be said about Joyce? At one time for a few years, she was the cream of the arm
I
wrestling.
think
women.
she won 13 world titles. Lori Powell, she won 8 world titles. These are all Canadians.
Yep. And there is more. Christine Flicka, Christine Jaworski. But I didn't think I had time to go down through the whole bloody list.
That's all right.
Yeah, and the state of women's arm wrestling, but I don't think it's changed that much. We still have some great women, and not. So, how long have you been arm wrestling now?
I think I started in 2012 or 13, somewhere around there, 12 or 13.
And the status of women coming to competitions probably hasn't changed that much.
Not well. When I first got in, we went to provincials, and it was in Cape Breton, and the only girl that showed up was Paula. And,
Paula O'Connell?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think we had like 11 to 15 entries for the whole provincial tournament. It was brutal.
Male and female, or just
But all the
everybody.
whole
The whole
thing. And Rob and I were like, wow. But then the following year, it's just been progressively getting better and better and better. So
For overall numbers, or what about for women?
for women, I find it comes in waves. It really comes in waves. I feel like we could have a good showing, and then the next couple might not be as much. And you know, it's hit or miss. It really is hit or miss. We need you guys come out.
Well, ever since I started in August of 2021.
You started during COVID.
Yeah.
Okay. Of all the bad times to come in.
Well, it was like I was working from home. I wanted to, you know, a way to not like to get off my butt. And so I started doing weight training in my office. And then I've always been interested in arm wrestling. And I had touched base with Rick in 2014 because
Really?
Yeah, there's a story there. So in 2014, I had this little bet with a person on my swim team. It's like, okay, we wanted to have a match and see who won. And we did it at a Christmas party. And I contacted Rick to borrow a table. And he's like, I'm not going to rent you a table or lend you a table, but I'll bring the table and ref the match. And I was like, well, I can't say no to that. And so I also said, so could I pay you to like give me some tips for like an hour? And I went down to the Sportsplex in Sackville, and him and his granddaughter, I think.
Madison, yeah.
They were there and they spent an hour with me. Super nice, and told me to watch some videos of Heidi Anderson from Sweden. And then he came and ref the match and I won it.
Cool.
And then
how am I only just hearing about this?
And
now?
I've never heard this before either.
It was in like someone's garage at a Christmas party, and everybody bet like either on the guy or me, and
You're pulling a man.
Yeah. And all the money went to the swim club, right?
Okay, so why didn't you keep coming out?
I just wasn't. I was
2014.
Went back to university, and I had two young kids.
Oh, okay.
A 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, and I've always been physically active, but I just kept it like on the back burner. And then during COVID, I was strength training, and I strength trained for a year, and then I was like, I'm ready. And then I came in August 2021.
Okay.
And went to Sackville.
And were you ready? You trained?
I felt ready.
Trained?
After my first practice, I left there, turned up like Q104, and it was just like, oh my God, this is awesome.
Oh, really?
I love it. See, this is the difference.
That's a good story.
Anyway.
It motivating you or discouraging you.
Yeah.
Right?
So, and then I've just gone over a year, and I still love it. Like and since I've been coming, it feels like to me there's more women interested. It is kind of, it goes up and down, but it does feel like there's more women.
Like I know, for example,
about it,
you had a recruitment night.
Yeah.
Right? That you're the driving force behind this. I know Angela went and Rick went. And when I talked to Rick about it, I'm going like, I don't think I should be there. This is a women's thing. And he goes, no, it's probably a good idea. But then other guys wanted to go.
Yeah,
like,
they did.
Yeah, they did want to go.
And if we had another one, they wanted to.
They were like, can we do a guys' night too? But we're trying to bring more women to the sport. And it was pretty successful.
The guys have all kinds of nights. They really do.
They have a lot of opportunities. And
yes.
So
how did your night go?
It went really well. We had two tables.
Two tables, yeah.
And there were a number of veteran arm wrestlers to help, show people, new people kind of how to do it.
Yeah.
We didn't have any super matches or anything like that. And we wanted people to be safe. And I don't know, we had there were at least 20 to 30 or even more people around. Like there were
just people around watching.
People watching. And then some of the guys wanted to arm wrestle at the end.
Which was great.
That's fine.
That's when Pauline shined. I have pictures and videos to prove.
So Pauline shone. So what does that mean?
She beat her husband.
Okay, hold it.
That was a couple beers in.
Oh, that's so funny.
Who won at the Christmas challenge? Did you win that match?
I won that match in 2014. Like that. What do you mean the Christmas challenge?
You had a challenge match against somebody else at a Christmas party.
That was 2014.
Yeah.
And then.
So you won that match.
I won that match. Yeah.
How did the guy feel afterwards?
He's just like, I can't. Yeah.
Oh.
He's just, I don't know. It's like if you're a guy, he felt like he felt like he couldn't win either way. Like
it is a lose-lose situation.
Yeah, he's like, I'm going to beat the girl or I'm going to lose. Like, yeah.
No, it's very, and a lot of guys' egos cannot take losing to a girl.
That's
So-
why it's kind of dangerous a little bit in one aspect. Like for me, for instance, in Atlantic, Canada, where I don't have no competition, I feel like now my next step is like weight men's class, right? But like you said, it's like they don't want to lose to a girl, but in the same sense, I need that type of caliber for when I go away. But in the same sense, I'm putting myself up for potential injury because they don't want to lose to a female. So, they're not going to take no mercy on you. But then you have the other guy that he'll take mercy on. Maybe you get a win off him. And the next guy's like, oh, hell no, I'm not letting that happen to me. Right. And that's where it becomes like with my husband, he has a little bit of a problem with it, like letting me go into especially locally, because our amateur light men's is quite talented and they're on
strong.
the verge of getting the boot into the elite 3, so
Yeah.
Depending on the promoters in the US, excuse me, some will not allow women to enter men's
I've
classes.
seen that.
And I've seen it too, and I'm
Or
torn. I
go
don't.
in to their actual weight too. I've seen Sarah Beckman go into her respectable weight.
I've witnessed Sarah Backman not be allowed to enter the men's classes because the tournament director says ladies and men's. You are not a man. You cannot enter the men's classes.
Yeah.
And the promoter would not let them. Okay, the promoter can do whatever they want. It's their tournament.
Yeah.
We had Joyce pulling in the men's class down here, and some of the guys could not deal with it very well. And they would slam her rather than worry about the embarrassment. All I thought was, I'm worried about her getting hurt.
Yeah.
Then she's no good to represent it, and that's where I kind of juggle with it a little bit too.
Yeah.
Especially if they force you to go in the weight class that wherever you weigh in. Well, no. So for you going in against bigger men, like it's not going to help you, I don't think. You pulling against lighter men, it could possibly help you. I don't know if I'd be comfortable if I was Rob with you pulling against the men. I'm only worried about you getting hurt.
He has
That's
a hard
all.
time with it too.
I don't care.
And I practice with the young guys, like
Practicing with the men is
but still, I feel like I have to be careful.
Absolutely.
There's certain people that I know are, have more experience and are able to kind of guide me and, hold back if they need to, or because.
Well, that's why with you being new and when you came to our club, that's why I was like directing you, like when it came to you training with the men to go be with like Chris Scott or Rick Pinkney or John Thompson or one of those Sackville boys that,
has the experience.
the experience behind it where they're going to be in your best interest. Because new guys don't have that knowledge yet, right?
Yeah.
And they haven't learned, they don't have the experience to know how much strength to use.
Yeah.
Whenever, if you're stronger than they thought you were going to be, are they going to overcompensate and smash into you? Well, look, I don't want to see you get hurt. Not that I want to see you get hurt against other women either, but just because some guy's ego can't deal, that's good. And I see Rob says, I don't like it. We get it. I understand.
Yeah.
I understand it quite a bit. So, so we have right now we ebb and flow of women showing up.
Yeah.
Right. So, is there anything we can do to encourage more women to keep coming out? Even the women that we have now outside of you guys aren't always showing up, and we don't always know if it's family commitments, work commitments.
Yeah.
We never hear. Is the answer weight classes? I have no idea.
Do you know what? I raffle my brain about it, and I did think about this before we came here, and I just don't have the answer. I really just don't have the answer because I understand from the promoters end of, we put all these women's weight classes and I'm paying for all these medallions or trophies or whatever, or awards of some sort. I don't want to waste them.
You don't.
And if only 5 girls show up and then we're trying to make the fairest weight classes because only 5 of them are there or whatever.
What seems to be happening in not in Atlantic Canada, in other jurisdictions, the US, across Canada. So the promoter's offering 3 weight classes. So you show up for your weight, you're the only girl in your weight class. Do you move up or do you just buy yourself a trophy? If you're just a trophy collector, if that's all you're coming for, you bought yourself a trophy.
Which is, there's no point.
I don't think, and
Yeah,
as a promoter, I don't
yeah,
think there's any point
yeah,
either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I feel like it would be good to start young. I feel, and I have talked about this, like going into schools, like when they have like a new or sports day, or they have like
It's a sports fair.
a sports fair, and they get to try out new things.
Yep.
Like I just see things
Which arm wrestling is always the one that's lined up.
up. It's popular.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
No,
and
I went there once
they
with
love it.
Sarah Wilson and Jenny when they came down, and we went over to visit Rick because he was doing it, and we stayed there for a few hours, and it was a blast. And I told Rick, I'm like, anytime I volunteer, just let me know, I'm there, because
Yeah.
I love it. The kids go crazy.
There's
Yeah.
one coming up, isn't there? Isn't there one
There
coming up?
is, I think. Now I don't know because I know Paula. She can do Thursday, which I work Thursday, and I gave Rick the option of Wednesday or Friday.
Okay.
But we still need one more person because it's 3 days,
Okay.
right? And
If I know what the dates are, I can look at my schedule too.
yeah, definitely. Well, Rick right now is away for the Worlds, but as soon as he comes back, and I can be flexible with my work. So, like, if it rather a Wednesday or a Friday works better
Yeah,
for you,
we'll have
just
to-
let me know because it is.
Yeah,
it's
well,
awesome.
I like online. I follow, a lot of the Swedish arm wrestlers and the Swedish arm wrestling groups, and they get right into the schools and they have arm wrestling. Like it's either like an after school thing or it's part of their gym program, and they have got the boys, the girls, both doing it young ages,
Yep.
all the way up, and getting them involved early on, and it's just another sport,
Well, that's what I'm doing right
Yeah.
now down in New Ross,
which is great, amazing.
which is every second Sunday from 1 to 3. It's a lady down there got in contact with Rick from the school board. I think she's the school board. I'm not sure. She works for them anyway, the school down there. And she said that they were doing programs and that arm wrestling is like one of their main highlight down there every year at the New Ross Fair. So she wanted to intertwine this, and Rick was like, well, I'm busy with this, and do you have time? And I was like, well, absolutely. My mom lives down New Ross. Like, I go down there anyway and do every tournament because I love it. The crowd goes crazy. They're so dedicated to their family members. It's just this family against this family, and they just go crazy. Rain, shine, like it don't
They're
matter
there.
what it is. And anyway, we're getting between, I would say, 10 to 25 kids. And it's like pretty much like we do have some adults and we do have some younger ones, but it's majority teenagers.
That's awesome.
And it's like, and the last 2 tournaments they went, and every single one of them placed at the tournaments. Like,
and then they get
they're
excited about it.
Oh,
So my only question is, do you have a good mix of young girls and young boys?
I do,
Yes.
which is fantastic. One of the moms, she loves it. She's been training now. Granted, she's pregnant now. She's a surrogate, so she's might have to put her little thing on hold for a minute. But then she has 2 daughters, and they're there every time. And so, and then at the last tournament, there was this other Stacy girl that came out to the last 2 tournaments. One at the gala days, and then the one at the exhibition that we just had.
Okay.
And she seemed pretty strong too. So she just needs some tweaking and stuff. Obviously, you know how new people come in.
Yeah, well, they do
Green-
need to learn.
green
They need
and
to
up.
learn, yeah.
So anyway, she was supposed to come down and meet up with me today, but it was canceled because no power down there or
They
whatever.
have no power in
They
New
had-
Ross?
no.
Bummer. Okay.
And their estimated time to get it back is Tuesday. So yeah. So I'm like, we're gonna hold off until next Sunday. But then we have some pretty strong guys, which are the older brothers of the teenagers that won that last tournament.
How old? How old are you talking?
He's, I think, 22, 23.
Oh, okay.
So he's just a young.
So still just a kid.
well, you gotta
but-
understand these are
No,
teenagers.
but yeah,
right?
no,
16,
you've
17, so
got
the
really,
older one.
yeah.
So anyway, he did really well, and he kind of, I don't know, took to Kenny Snow a little bit. They were doing some stuff afterwards,
Okay.
and I mentioned how good Kenny was and stuff. So anyway, Kenny offered to take a truckload down to New Ross, and they were all excited, you know. So
Then the
hopefully-
hurricane came.
Hurricane came, but hopefully next time.
Yeah.
Kenny, if you're watching, they're waiting for you. So if I can get some more crowds, I feel like if you make it like next time, I'm definitely bringing down a radio. You know, I find advertising and making something like someone's missing out on something, they want to be there. So I'm doing these little things to see if we can't recruit more people down there, because it's growing and I love it.
That's great. And that's one part of like Nova Scotia. Like if we could do that in other little pockets as well, and not all one person, but that's the challenge, you know, having a veteran, someone who's experienced enough to be able to
keep people safe when they're just beginning. Absolutely. And it's actually an issue right now with down Yarmouth Way with James Muse and his crew. So I think James Muse and the Southwest Slammers, he has the most experience.
Yeah.
Well, James Muse has about as much experience as you do. Well,
a little bit more.
But
a little bit more.
We're not talking a lot of experience. Nothing against James.
He's recruiting a lot. Like
he's recruiting a bunch of new people.
He is. There was a 22-year-old that's in his club, and he really impressed me down there at this last exhibition. I was like, wow, like he's super fast. You know, but like you said, with these clubs, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this or anything, but I put in my little 2 cents worth for the AGM and what, you know, qualifies you for a club, what would register you for a Nova Scotia, you know.
Well, Nova Scotia Arm Wrestling has insurance, and if you're recognized, there's a certain amount of protection.
Exactly.
However, if you and a bunch of friends just decide to get together on an arm wrestling table and someone gets hurt, Nova Scotia Arm Wrestling can't be held responsible for that.
Exactly.
So,
and that's why
we just want to see people stay safe.
To Rick for the AGM, what qualifies you for, and what will register you under the Nova Scotia's, you know,
under their protection. Under Nova Scotia Arm Wrestling's protection.
Because, you know, we need a little bit more order with saying things. Things, you know, have been a little vague. So if we put them set in stone, then rules are rules, right?
Yeah, and it's good to have those rules in place, and then hopefully, you know, we'll be able to like spread out and have some more of these like areas, you know, come get together and do arm wrestling. You know,
well, I feel like there's some fundings that people don't know about as well, which I'm actually just learning my own self through this program down in New Ross. That I don't know how much of in the city, because you know, there's bigger sports that kind of trump, you know, us arm wrestlers, unfortunately. But on the outskirts, what's going on? Like even Laura, I know I'm talking about New Ross is just because this is so fairly new to me and a learning experience that she's going to be going for some funding so we can get tables down there. Because as we all know, like we only have so many tables. They are not cheap.
Well, you guys are bringing your own tables to go to New Ross, right?
We're bringing 2 vehicles to bring them down because I don't have a truck, right? So
that's it. You got to sell that and buy a truck. Nothing else can be done.
I think
where's your priorities?
They had a truck and they sold.
Where's your priorities, girl? Come on.
Hey, I'm trying.
I'm working up for a truck. It'll happen.
Okay, so you're going to be the one transporting tables all around the province.
Yeah, I'll be like, hey, Pauline, what are you doing today? Come down.
So now, you felt that your first recruitment night that you held for women specifically was successful?
It was successful. We haven't seen those same women come to a practice. And I think that is in part, I know how to contact the interested people. A lot of them don't even have a car.
Oh, shit, really?
Because it was in downtown Dartmouth.
Yeah.
So they just walked to the venue.
Okay.
And there's a lot of, you know, young adults who don't own a vehicle.
And how they get into Southfield?
Yeah. So things are kind of spread out. There isn't anything in Halifax or Dartmouth, which seems odd, really.
Okay, it may seem odd to you,
but
Halifax and Dartmouth, Halifax has been dead for arm wrestling for decades. No, we put on tournaments in Halifax and they haven't flown. Tournaments in Dartmouth have done marginally better, but it's the smaller rural area, Truro and Bridgewater and Kentville, and we just had one of Perry's that was in Waterville. Right, all the smaller communities seem to support it more than Is there too much to
Yeah.
do in Halifax? I have no idea,
that's,
but
maybe that's part of it. And there's, people who are already using their muscles in their day job. Maybe that's, there's more people doing physical labor in smaller communities. They arm wrestle when they party at night. I don't know. I don't know. About that.
well, I've seen a lot of that arm wrestling
Yeah.
at a
Like
party.
when I
I usually leave the
I
room,
grew
but
up, in rural Alberta and, BC, and there was arm wrestling at parties and stuff like that. But, and then you see like overseas, there's a lot of rural areas overseas where arm wrestling's been big, where
Yeah.
it's like logging communities, and that's where it started. People would log all day, and then they come in, and then they're like arm wrestling each other. And
true.
but it's a really good, it's good training, for anyway. That doesn't surprise me that the rural areas are more.
They seem to do way
There
better.
is a lot of interest. There might be more things to distract people in town. That's true.
There seems to be with the new people that are just getting involved in arm wrestling during COVID, shortly before COVID. There seems to be more of yous coming from the urban.
Yeah, like David. He, I can't remember his last name, but he's fairly new. He's just started 6 months before me in Sackville.
Yeah.
With like the long brown hair.
Yeah, he just pulled at the exhibition.
Yeah,
Okay.
so he's drives in from Halifax, and I drive in from.
You're from Dartmouth. Andrew Yakimovich. Andrew's from
Oh, is
Halifax, Dartmouth area, I
Oh,
believe.
really?
Andreas Lumers is from the Halifax, Dartmouth area.
Okay.
So there's a few more. Like, how did you 2014? But how did you discover? Well, why did you come out to arm wrestling during COVID? Of all times to
It was the timing was right. I just felt ready. I felt like I had the time, and when I want to do something,
Yeah, she was working.
I was working from home, so I wanted to.
Okay.
I'm a nurse, so I was working.
How do you work from home as a nurse?
I was on the COVID response team, so
Oh,
it was all like phone calls.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and my shifts were more regular and all this. So, right now, like I work night shift and I work day shift, so that's why, and I work weekends and I don't work it's all over the place. So that's why I can't always make tournaments. So I don't make tournaments for those reasons, like work, family commitments, that type of thing. But
Rick and I have talked about this before, and it's interesting enough. We've lost more men from arm wrestling because of women. So their girlfriends or wives, they started devoting too much time. They can once or twice a week isn't enough. They want to be, they've been given ultimatums, and guys are gone.
yeah.
But if you have a family, and there has to be work, family, your fun, some sort of balance in there.
Yeah.
And as a nurse working shift work, that's got to be brutal.
Yeah.
has
It's
to
been
be.
hard to fit it in,
Just fitting in your family life has
Yeah.
got to be tough. Working shift work.
but they're all coming to nationals with me. Hotels booked.
The whole family's
Yeah,
coming,
They're all coming.
She tried booking
and they're probably,
before you were allowed to book.
that's
She
more than a
is
year
psyched.
old, right?
Yeah.
Telling secrets.
Yeah, no, I can't wait for that. I'm just pumped. So I'm,
You're gonna have a good time. It's
yeah,
national
and I
show.
just,
Great.
I know that I'm new to this, but I just try, give it my all. Like, I do my training on the side and show up at the table as much as I can. And I might need to pull a little harder, so I'm more sore the next day. Apparently, I've been told that. But
Ouch! Ouch! Who's going around telling people they're not trying hard enough?
I should be saying that, right? I've been so slack for way too long. See, Joyce, what you did to me? You left me high and dry. I was getting closer.
You know what?
God damn,
You
you kept me motivated. You were local. Didn't cost me thousands to go arm wrestle
So Joyce lives just outside of Fredericton. So her husband would drive her
to my house.
to practice.
To my house.
And then
to
back home.
practice.
They didn't stay overnight. And then back
wow.
home. So 4.5 hour drive here,
Almost 5.
4.5 hours back home. More than once. And before Angela was involved in arm wrestling, she would just come down. So she would pull with me and Rick and Chris. And that may have been about it because her husband didn't trust some of the other guys.
Yeah.
And I totally understand. I totally get it. For any new girls coming in, I don't know, to be pulling against men, it scares me. I don't know how you felt about it, but
I don't mind it. I have impression or the sense that some of them don't know if they should ask me if I want to practice or not. So if the table's free and there's no one else, I'll just say, oh, you want to come up, you want to go, like I
Yeah.
just offer.
Okay, so I feel like that's a new opinion. I feel because when I was first starting out, I didn't care. Just like you're saying, I would want to arm wrestle whoever wanted to arm wrestle. But as you get more competitive, as you get to learn more in the sport, you're a little bit more picky and choosy because of like you'll get injured and you're like, damn, now I can't, train for the next couple of weeks, or it's setbacks. So you're a little bit more choosier as the time goes on. I feel personally like when you're new in it, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna
pull everybody, right?
Right. But
I don't feel like I'm going to hurt them. Like I feel like it's more me.
Yeah, absolutely. But when you
Especially
don't know,
when you're
that's
new.
what I mean.
Yeah, but I'm saying that even though I know that I'm taking a risk because I just want the time on the table.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like if Rick's busy with someone, Paula's busy with someone, or she's taking a break, or So I like alternating between two clubs because then you get to try pulling with different people, which I think is really important.
Absolutely.
It's the most important thing. Yourself. You get stagnant, just pull.
Oh,
you and I are arm wrestling every night of the week, but so what?
Yeah. So
Right?
Well, like when Rob's training for nationals, we go to all the clubs, all of them, down to Digby,
wow.
to hook up with Phil
Phil
Cardy.
Cardy's, yeah.
We'll go to Perry's. We'll go to Churro. We'll go to Sackville. We go all over the place.
Oh, it's great, and you're both in doing it, which is like a bonus.
Well, it's good and bad because it's good because we're together and we have a great relationship that way. But when it comes to the finances, now our son is also in, so now it's like, okay, so if we all go to nationals and then if we want to try worlds, those right?
Ouch.
You're talking about a lot of money, right?
You have to talk Rick into hosting the Worlds here in Halifax.
Do you hear that, Rick?
He's in Paris right now, so chances are he's not watching.
He will come back and watch.
Yeah.
I'll
put
tell you to
Halifax
watch
on the map.
He was really close before. Then we went out and scouted locations, and he had most of his funding was coming together. But then politically, that was when we were still affiliated with the WAF. Excuse me, but then politically, it became really difficult, and I don't think you'll see the WAF here in North America for a very long time. I don't think. Now, however, so Rick chose himself to follow the IFA, and most of the arm wrestlers, most of the arm wrestlers in Canada have followed Rick as the president to the IFA, and that's the worlds that they're going to. I think there's still some that choose to go to the WAF as well, though.
Yep.
Which is fine. This is
your choice.
It's a free country. You're allowed to go.
Your choice.
You could poll. You don't have to. You could poll at an WAF, and then you could go to another
IFA. But then chances are you can't go back to the WAF because they won't let you.
Oh, really?
Not because of anything over here. It's the political.
Yeah, they want you to be
exclusive.
to their
exclusive
worlds.
to them.
Okay.
Yes.
But if you went to the IFA, they did say that if you wanted to go back to the WAF, that if you write them an email
ask permission.
and ask permission,
Yeah, we all know how I feel about that.
Who knows?
So have you entertained the idea of doing another recruitment night?
I'd like to do it. I thought yes immediately after that night. Don't have anything in the works.
No,
but would like to maybe go to start something else up and maybe try. Sometimes same location is good and you bring the same people in and they try it again, or maybe a new location. I'll probably have to chat with Angela and Rick about it and try to set something up. I'd like to be a part of that school fair. I think that would be a great thing.
You'll love it.
Yeah,
you'll love it
because that's my
See,
heart.
Rick?
My heart's
You
in,
just gotta ask.
the kids
God
sport
damn.
section of things.
well, he did ask.
He did, but not
He didn't ask me.
No,
He put a general.
In all fairness,
post out.
he put a post out, but we just had a conversation about this, me and Rick did, that sometimes you just need, not everyone's on the internet all the time or sees every notification. And that being said, ask me. I will contact these guys and I'll organize everything. because I love doing that. Volunteered.
Yeah. Well, and I would like to say, like, if there's anyone watching this that's interested, any women watching this that's interested in starting arm wrestling, be sure to follow like Nova Scotia Arm Wrestling on Facebook and like email Rick. Find out where the clubs are that you could go to. That's how I started. I just looked up Nova Scotia Arm Wrestling and I came upon Rick's name, and I did not know that I was like contacting the president of Canadian Arm Wrestling. And I thought that was so awesome. Like, to have a world-class ref my first match. I thought that, that's...
He was at the time, before he left WAF, I don't know
Yeah.
where he ranks now, so he was the number 2 referee in the world.
Like, that just blows my mind.
So it's
Anyway,
very
sometime when I become like famous arm wrestler, I'll put up that video of that first match.
of that first
I love
match.
it. I want to see this.
I want to see this first
Right?
match.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
She has to send that to you.
Well, we have to do something. We have to get it posted somewhere.
I'm wearing a cape at the beginning. Yeah.
Oh, this is getting better by the
I got
moment
a
here.
nickname,
You got a nickname,
Crusherella.
Crusherella.
And they like put it in gold on the back of this red cape, and they like came
Can you
out.
believe this?
That's-
This is
That
like
is just too
something-
funny. This is good. This is a better story all along.
We just worked it up and
Oh
like
my
built it up and stuff. But anyway, I totally encourage any women who are interested in arm wrestling to email, post, ask questions, and we'll figure out a way to get you on the table.
And if you're not part of Nova Scotia, and if you're part of like New Brunswick, or if you're part of Ontario or whatever province, or just under Facebook, punch in the area. And after that, just put arm wrestling. And it should probably send you somewhere. And you can link in there. There are so many.
There's a ton of arm wrestling online, and there's a ton of contacts online as well. So my other question for you is: so you have a supportive husband? Your husband
Yes.
is supportive of
Yes,
this? Of you
he's-
doing this?
Oh, did you not see his table he built for her?
I think
It's the
I saw
coolest
I saw
table
pictures
ever.
of it. That's
Yeah.
all I've seen.
It's
No,
like
he's very
a Ford truck.
Yeah, it's the grill of a Dodge 76 or 77
Oh, I thought
Dodge
it was
truck. It's
I thought
okay.
it was a Ford.
It's great. Like, he's totally there for me 110%.
That
Yeah.
makes a huge difference.
Yeah,
it really
is.
does.
It is, but I'm conscious that I don't want to monopolize all family time too. Like you
No,
were
no, no,
mentioning.
absolutely.
So I would have loved to have gone to the Toronto one, especially when I saw all the after pulling.
Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of took over the hotel's bar. They were closing. They ended up staying open
Yeah.
for another couple hours, and all tables were moved, and Freedom Arm Wrestling was the
Yeah, no,
I
it
can't
was
say
a-
I'm a fan. I'm not
No,
a fan of
it's
Freedom
not,
Arm
but
Wrestling.
we
I'm
did-
not. But you don't have a choice
But
if you're going
we
to.
didn't have a choice
Pull.
because we were just pulling on tables. But
yeah, with sweatshirts for
I was doing the video and watching them, getting a kick out of it.
Yeah.
But hey.
Now, what about your kids? Have they shown any interest at all?
They do have some interest. My daughter's very competitive. Like, she gets her foot up on the table. I don't know if that's legal, but
There's no foot rule. There's no foot rule in arm wrestling.
she's kind of like me. She wants to like prepare before she comes out
Okay.
in front of people.
Mhm.
And our
Which
son,
is most women.
yeah, our son, he's 13. He's they love that I do it, and they like telling their friends about it. And
Well, my mom's an arm
yeah,
wrestler.
and then they get the tables at home, and they'll get on the table.
Okay.
So they are playing around with it. I haven't convinced them to come out to a practice yet.
Okay. Yeah. That takes
so-
time. That takes
yeah.
a certain amount of.
Like, you
nerve.
watched for 10 years, right? Like,
Yeah.
I took me
I don't know how that happened though.
2014.
I think Rob took a break there because there's no way I would have watched for that
I was
long.
going to say no. He did take a break
Mm.
shortly after you guys became a couple.
Yeah, yeah, he was kind of going through an
So,
ugly
yeah, no, he had
divorce.
some issues
and-
came up.
Yeah, and then we
Yeah,
had a
so-
kid, and then
yeah, life happens, right?
mhm.
So maybe it'll just take them a little bit of time. So who knows?
Whatever. And then for you, so you're at the top of Atlantic Canada. There's nobody beating you right now that's coming out that we know about.
Mhm.
So how do you stay motivated, or do you not stay motivated?
I'm not motivated at all. Like I was saying, I was super motivated when Joyce was there because she was the closest person to me who I couldn't beat.
Right?
And then when she went out, I completely totally,
There's just no one else to pull against.
I have a club on Tuesday nights, Timberley Gladiators, that we do faithfully every Tuesday. But that's all I was doing. I was doing more coaching than I was coaching myself, I guess. And yeah, I was more of a helper. I couldn't be active because it felt like if I entered a tournament, I would discourage other women. So that's the last thing I want to do. I want to grow us into something where we're as equal as the men, all the way around. But us women need to bring up our numbers. We need to be more consistent. And then Tamara moved here, and she's in PEI, which is only like 3.5 hours, which I'm still cool with, like another strong girl, but all the other girls have been getting her, not me.
Well, now Tamara's in a different weight class than you.
I don't know. I
don't know how much she weighs right now.
She's not telling anybody.
She's still way smaller than me. She still is way smaller than me.
But after everything that Tamara and her family have gone
through,
keeping the weight number and everything is not.
That's not. We love you. Come
not
back.
a bit. Yeah.
Yes.
Look, she came to the first main event arm wrestling thing we had.
Yeah.
And she came to Toronto and she wasn't even going to pull, and then next thing you know,
she's there and
she did awesome. And I did my first super match with her, which was like an honor for me to pull against someone with that much experience.
She's got a pedigree and a half.
Yeah.
Boy, I tell you what.
She's been in it a long time, 30 something years.
I think her and I started roughly around the same time, so it's over 30 years.
35, 36, I kind of.
Yeah, it's a little bit more.
Yeah.
We're getting old. But look, she has done a lot and been everywhere. But so back probably 10, 15 years ago, Mark Zalepa was putting on a series of events for women. He brought over Heidi Anderson and Sarah Bachman and
I pulled her in WAL. She's a force.
Oh, Sarah.
Sarah Bachman. Oh my God. Yeah.
But Mark brought a team from North America to face off against a team from Sweden. That went really great. But then Mark did another event where it's just super matches lined up. But then there was never, not this as a Mark, but there was never any building from that. And this was great to watch because unlike when we're watching pay-per-views and you get the super heavyweight guys and all there is fucking around at the table.
Yeah.
The women actually come to arm wrestle. No, for real. I'm not even making a joke.
There's women on the card. Right? They're the show.
They're the best show most of the time.
I just went to Toronto. Who was the best?
Heidi and Sarah, no doubt. Because
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, the rest of the matches didn't appeal to even me as an arm wrestling fan. Look, and I like these guys. I like Matt Mask, and I like Krasny, and I like.
I really like Matt Mask for the fact of
I just don't think it was a good matchup.
All of them kind of were shutouts, but I just love his acting.
Matt puts on a great show, and he's an entertaining arm wrestler.
Yeah, I was kind of expecting a little bit more out of Brendan Millville.
Little toned down, was he?
Yeah, he was. I don't know,
I don't know if this had anything to do with it, but his last super match, he was out west and pulled Chance Shaw and got his butt handed to him.
I did see that.
You saw that? He got crushed by Chance Shaw.
But he wasn't vocal at all. Normally he's a little more vocal, things like that.
What does that mean? I'll give you some motivation. Anybody in Atlantic provinces, I put a $200 bounty on your arm. Female, that is. So Rob's putting up $200 to anybody that can beat Angela.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, my God.
And they have to be from Atlantic, Canada?
Well,
is that what he's saying?
I don't know.
Because he says that anybody in Atlantic province. Yes,
province,
okay. So anybody from Atlantic.
Well, come on.
You said you wanted to pull it. You
show
did.
up on October 22nd at Parkside.
Yeah, we have a match.
You guys are pulling right and left.
Yeah, she's my contender for the
belt.
belt.
You're the challenger.
I'm just going to pop a bunch of caffeine pills before I do that.
Jesus Christ.
She's a nurse. She's going on steroids tonight.
I'm gonna give it my all, man.
But you know what? Okay. Don't let her
That's
fool
all
you.
you can
Well,
do.
that's
Don't
it.
let her fool you. She's getting stronger and better all the time. So
I'm working
Luke,
on it.
we're
Luke
actually
Faubert
gonna
says,
start.
Luke, May Colpitts. So, Luke, do you think May can take on Angela and beat her? This is my question to you. You know who May
I
is?
know who May is.
Yeah.
Yeah, we hooked up at that last tournament that Perry had.
Oh, the Battle Zone. Did you guys use
Afterwards.
After? Yeah, no, after. Pauline.
Do you know what? She's a lightweight,
Yeah.
and she's new, and she's super strong. And keep it up, keep it up. We want you.
Well, and I know that she was her partner, Luc Lavoie, was asking if they're like
Their whole family.
I know,
He's
but
a
he was just
tank,
asking if
the
there's
kid's
going to be
a tank,
anybody
the
for her
mom's
to
a
pull.
tank. Like they're all
Oh,
super.
Wow.
They're small, but they're super strong.
Wow.
He
Yeah.
was wondering about should he come to the Battle Atlantic? Will there be any women there for her?
There
to pull?
will be.
Yeah,
There will
totally.
be, especially for her, because she did pretty well against who was it? She pulled Nicole, Alicia,
Can you? I can't read that. I don't. It's too far away.
Marisha? Did she pull
Oh.
Marisha?
Scott.
Have you ever
have-
considered doing public challenge videos where arm wrestlers bring a table to a public place and passersby can have a chance to try arm wrestling? It's been very popular on YouTube.
I have seen
We
that.
actually have done that. Well, I haven't. Wade Graves did it in Bedford for a fundraiser.
Okay, but it wasn't. Yes, and Wade did a muscular dystrophy a couple of different nights.
And
He did-
whoever could beat the national champion, because he was a national champion at the time, he would give.
I don't remember
it
what
was
the.
$100
think
or
it was.
something. Every time he lost, he'd give $100 to. Yeah.
Towards muscular dystrophy.
Yeah.
Wade's brother has muscular dystrophy.
Yeah.
So he had a few of these as fundraisers. I
Yeah,
think there was
and
only
even
one
little
time.
boys came out with
Oh,
the and
Oh,
like
yeah.
he would let it was super
He
cute.
and he better be letting them win.
Yeah,
Right, and
he
this
let
isn't
every
about the
single one of
money,
the
it's-
kids.
Yeah.
This is being filmed, and so Swayze Express. So it's been done. No, I have not. I have not thought about doing it. I know Rick and I talked about it before because we did main event down on the boardwalk, and he suggested doing something like that. And the only thing I can say for me, the only negative for me is anything out on the boardwalk for me and all the gear I have to bring with me is a pain in the butt.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if I can just film it with my phone and then take it home and edit it, it's great. Or we have you film it with your
Yep.
gimbal. That's what it's
Wand or
called.
whatever it is.
Yeah, she bought
I
a
bought
gimbal.
one. I don't know
She
the
doesn't-
name of it.
She doesn't ever use it.
I should because it's actually really. It makes really good
No,
quality.
it's really good.
It is.
I know. And
You
then
can
I,
borrow whenever you want.
well, and I said, "You got your thing?" Oh, I can charge it up.
Well, if you
I will
even
bring
on
it.
the Dartmouth side, there's they have this tent set up every summer now called for the Sunshine Series, and they do music and stuff. But they could easily do like an arm wrestling thing in there. It has a slot, or when it's winter, it could be set up in a place
And
like
wherever.
a place like Staggers. They loved it.
Mhm. That was actually a good little spot.
Yeah, like down in that.
I actually
lower
like. I would
section. There's place for
exercise that
cameras and
again.
stuff.
To be
Yeah,
truthful.
there's a place for cameras and everything like that.
Mhm.
So
And well, it should be. Michael Todd has done this a bunch of times. Beat
Yeah.
the champ. So if you beat the champ, you get whatever he's putting up as prize money or as a prize type of thing.
people would eat that up.
Probably. Let's see. Lori. Assuming he's mean. Luke, do you mean Lori LaRock from Buck? Oh no, he does not.
Old
From
school
Bucktouche,
puller
old school
from-
puller from early '90s, is back training. I don't think I know who that is, Luke.
Is
To
she
be-
from New Brunswick?
I know a Lori LaRock, but
I don't.
I don't know. I
that.
think that's Lorraine. Is that what that's supposed to?
Lorraine.
I don't have glasses on. That's way
Well-
too
Lorraine
small.
LaRock.
Yeah, and I know a Lori LaRock from Ontario. I do not know a Lorraine LaRock
Well,
from
there you
Bucktouche.
go.
Lorraine, okay.
Okay.
I actually don't know her, Luke. I don't believe I've seen her. Okay.
Either way, more
Bring her
the
out, bring her
merrier.
out. Yeah.
More the merrier, Luke. You keep doing that, okay?
No, we need.
And I hope your daughter's doing
I'm
okay.
just-
I talked to her once
same
in a
thing
while.
just went through my head. I hope Sabrina's doing okay.
Yeah, she had an injury.
Yeah, it's
I love her.
unfortunately it's the injury that we hear about, and it's gruesome. It can be, but the problem with kids arm wrestling is we still have the stigma to overcome of arm wrestling just being a bar room where always a bunch of drunks just, bah.
Yeah.
It isn't like that, folks. And I
No.
know the people watching know it isn't like that. But I think that the beat the champ, I don't know who the champ would be, like an open challenge. Okay. I think that would probably work great. And
Question
who
for me?
oh, sorry. Yeah.
Who's been your toughest opponent?
Sarah Beckman, for sure.
She's been the toughest girl you've ever pulled
Absolutely.
over Joyce.
Absolutely.
Okay. No, I'm just,
Now I didn't pull Joyce in her prime though.
no. Okay.
But I guess I would have to say Sarah Beckman.
I think so. Joyce, 2003 to 2007. I think that 4 or 5 years, she was it on the world level. She was the top girl. I may be off. I know it was 2003. That's when she won her first world title in Ottawa, and I may be off on the 2007.
But one
2008.
girl that is, I can just throw it out there for you girls at nationals. Jocelyn, the one that I just pulled in PEI.
Reply, Luke.
I would have to say look out for her, girls.
Jocelyn Brisson from
Yes,
Ontario.
yeah.
Her
Yeah.
wrist is tight. Her arm is strong. I told her she has to work on her fingers. I watched a match between her and Jose. I know that I pulled Jose before and beat her. And then when I watched a match because I just said yes. I always will say yes, not even knowing. And I didn't know who Jocelyn was at the time. It was Sarah Wilson that threw me out there to her. And she was like, I'm down. Are you down, Ange? I was like, well, hell yeah, because you're coming to me and I don't have to pay to travel this time, and it's the experience for me too. Even though I was coming off of a serious lung infection at the time, I was so weak at the time, but I did not want to say no.
But she really, well, I met her the first time at Michigan State. She was just way too strong for the girls
Oh
that
my
were there
God.
that
Okay.
day.
So then I started studying her a little bit. I'm sitting here watching her bench like 265, deadlift 400 and some pounds. I was like, Sarah, what did you do?
What have you done to
What
me?
did it work?
Yeah.
Who did you put me up against? Like, I haven't been doing shit. But anyway, we did some pulling afterwards, and that's usually when someone can test how strong you actually really are, because there's not the hit at the go, and you can actually feel the strength of someone. And I feel like I know a fair bit of, I guess, with the technical part of it. And we hooked up afterwards, and her wrist was stronger, her arm was stronger, and like I said, the only thing that I had going against her was the fingers. So if she just keeps working with that, I'm going to tell you right now.
No, you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you don't. Well, no, I'll give you notification.
Watch out for that girl.
Jocelyn, yeah, she's very. I think
Yeah.
she's just learning how to arm wrestle. Like
She's a year in or
something like that,
Yeah,
but she's
2
so
years.
strong.
Almost
Yeah,
3.
She's
I
just
think.
so
Yeah.
strong.
She is, but she works out like in.
she's flipping 600-pound tires.
But do you know what? I've done that.
Yeah.
It.
What are you doing now?
Yeah, I know. I haven't been doing anything. See, girls come out. I needed something to motivate me. Well, nationals is kind of starting to motivate me. We have a little bit of a plan, right?
Yeah.
So.
But then the thing is, so do you make practice every week? I'm just based on your schedule and family commitments.
As much I try to go to one or the other.
Yeah.
And if I work a night shift, I can't do it. But if I don't work night shift, then I go for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I weight train 3 days a week, and I swim twice a week.
So this is 6 days a week. You're being active. Yeah.
Yeah, she works out a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a question.
Have any of you considered posting arm wrestling on TikTok? It seems like a natural platform for the sport.
They started a TikTok account, Nova Scotia Arm Wrestling. There is one.
They started.
At
Brett
Sackville.
Landsberg was
Yeah.
looking to do something.
He
They
started one.
asked me about it.
So there is.
So I know I got to come up with the times here because I'm literally Facebook only.
Oh,
I don't have TikTok. I don't have Instagram, Snap. I don't have any of that stuff, but I'm going to have to.
Yeah, there's a lot of arm
I-
wrestling on Instagram too.
Well, it's funny because I went
got
to
off of
work.
Instagram because
Yeah.
it was dead.
Yeah.
I thought it was
Well, I
dead.
went to work and buddies were like, "Oh, I seen you in the background." It was at Atlantic's, match was going around on the Instagram or whatever, and he was like, look, there you are, or whatever. And I was like, oh, who posted that? And he was like, I don't even know.
Well, must show you who's like. I'm assuming it's a cell phone footage. I do not
I
post
don't know
videos to
anything about that
Instagram.
stuff.
Now, I would like to see more on the Nova Scotia Arm Wrestling Instagram page, but Rick is the one that has that.
Actually,
And
and Maddie's the one that
started it.
takes. Yeah, she started the account for him, and she was going to add content.
That's hard.
I don't know if they're expecting me to supply content. I don't know if somebody has a plan that I don't know about. I don't have any idea.
Well, that's something we can communicate about, though.
Yeah, we can bring that
But
up.
as far as TikTok goes, I'm not in favor. For me personally, and for our sport videos,
Yeah, but you
they're
have
too
a different-
small.
But
The
yeah,
clips have to be too small.
but his vision's a little bit different too.
It's a
because
lot different.
Yours is the library. No matter what, this video, they get lost.
Yeah.
They do.
A lot of them do. Look, I have the biggest library on the internet in the world.
Yeah.
Right, I've not over 3,400 videos up on my YouTube page. And there's people saying, "Have you ever seen this?" Well, yes, it's on my YouTube page. Yes, there. And my YouTube page is fairly easy to navigate. If you know the year, just pick the year and then a name of a tournament. And if I have it, it'll be.
No, that's amazing.
You'll see clips there.
That's what I love about it, and that's why I
And
keep
maybe
telling
it's
him to
up
be
to
consistent.
someone like Brett and other people who use TikTok.
Do you know what
to
Brett
say
can do that.
Brett, I really like Brett. I feel like he's the biggest gentle giant going, and
Unless you hooked onto him with the other end of him
I
with a
know.
strap on or something.
yeah, he's a super strong dude.
Yeah.
Watch out for him for
I haven't
nationals as
I haven't
well.
practiced with him.
He's only 26. Massive.
You just took a cut and pay.
Why?
Rob's taking the $200
Out of your pay.
200 on your
That's
arm
coming out
don't
of your
motivate you,
paycheck.
then no.
That's coming out of your paycheck.
Oh, Jesus. Jocelyn, she's the granddaughter of national champion.
Colette Brisson. She was national champion back in 1990 to 1993.
I love it. I love it.
Oh,
Okay,
And you know what?
There's
And
history that we did not know.
And most times I feel like that's what it is. It's like generation after generation of arm wrestlers. Like,
Well, we look, Miss Producer over there. She arm wrestled,
that's right. I heard.
and we had a daughter, and Tiffany started arm wrestling. She was beating all the boys. She was beating Christopher Scott and whatever boys were.
That's
But then-
funny.
But girls naturally have a better top roll than most boys, because boys just think it's all give them hell guts, right?
Yeah,
But the girls and Tiffany just got bored. It just wasn't that much fun for her anymore, so she just went away. Like, okay, if you're not interested, you're not interested.
Yeah.
Just because Daddy has to go to all these tournaments doesn't mean that you have to.
See, my biggest advice, or I guess my what I try to say to girls who are like, oh, well, I don't want to enter because so and so's in there and they're gonna win. Don't let that discourage you. If someone can beat you, let that motivate you. Let that drive you to work harder, because you want to know what? Those who work harder they'll win. They will. You got to think about it.
Well, that's how I feel.
like,
because I
Right now,
am working hard to
you
be
are working harder than me. Right at this, because I don't work out. I just do Tuesday nights, right? I'm going to change that. I want to change that. But if you
We're
keep
waiting.
doing, I know. No,
I'm
I've
not
been
making
doing
any
it for a long
sarcastic.
time.
I'm going to let her make
It's
the
true.
sarcastic
It's
comments.
true.
It
Call
does
me out on my
motivate me.
bullshit.
It does motivate me. The fact that I can't beat you gives me something to work towards. And I'm not letting that just stop
You
me
got
in
to
my
trust the
tracks.
process.
When you learn about this sport, it's not very often you come in and you start winning everything right away.
I
It's
got slammed.
5-10 years in, I know I have to put in the time, but I just love the challenge. One thing I'd like to say that attracts me to arm wrestling is that when you're doing it, you can only be in that moment 100%. You can't be thinking about anything else. You can't be thinking about stuff you got to do,
I need to learn that.
for me, I just have to be 100% in the moment. And and I need that in my life right now. So that's why I show up at the table.
I love
Another
it.
question for you.
Oh, okay.
Angela, is there an opponent that outside of Atlantic Canada that you want to take on?
Like, do you want revenge on Jocelyn? You want to?
I would have to.
You took a loss.
I would honestly have to really
You have to train.
train for
Yeah.
that girl. Man,
Wouldn't you like to go to the Nationals and beat Sarah?
At nationals.
Wouldn't you like to beat Sarah? Just face Sarah in the finals and come out on the
well,
winning end? Wouldn't you just
so,
like that?
But now I'm in Masters, so I get to.
You
go
could still
there
go in the
first and see if I can even hang.
Oh.
Because I think I would have Jose and Flicka, and they're
Jose, Christine. Yeah.
they are no jokes. So I don't know. I would like redemption on some of the ones that had beaten me that I maybe don't think that they could or can now. Like Sylvie.
Sylvie Dufresne?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who else is another one that beat me? Even Laura Parks. She's super strong. She got me on the right arm and I got her on the left arm, but that was a long time ago. Maybe Elma. I don't want to shoot to the top because I already competed against them. I don't think that I'm there. I don't give myself that credit yet because I'm not training at my full capacity, I guess is how I'd say it.
Okay, and the two names you just mentioned, are they still even coming out? Neither one was
I
at
don't
last
think
national.
I don't think Sylvie is at all.
Sylvie wasn't there. Alma?
No.
How, I'm not sure how you're pronouncing
Alma,
it. She hasn't been out.
She hasn't been out for a little while either, and
And
same with Laura, I guess.
Same with Laura, yeah.
So I feel like it kind of goes, well, Heidi and Sarah, then like I would like to see Maria and Jocelyn. They would be a good super match.
So you mentioned
and then-
Heidi. Is
and
Heidi
I-
going to
and
keep
I-
coming out?
I don't know her story, actually. I don't know if she doesn't want to put in the time because you have to put in mega time. If you want to be at the top of the game, you really have to be dedicated. Like, I'm going to use Joyce as an example, or even Sarah Beckman. When they're motivated, like on a whole nother level. And that's what you need to be if you want to bang with them girls. And I feel like when I quit smoking, I gained weight, and I'm in this class. And honestly, like I'm 5'4", and that's why, like, when I was watching that, which I still haven't been able to find, Gabby did an interview about the long lever girls, because where I am shorter, it's hard to get around that. So I would like to talk to you about that. Short girl problems, I guess. And I don't know, like I just.
Well, it will be like there's going to be maybe new people at nationals who you don't even know. You know?
Yeah, probably.
No,
But-
no.
If you just train,
But I'm
your
just
best
like
and then show up,
I
and then
feel
you
like
just
I'm
see
just
what-
I'm
what's there.
untrained just under them. That's how I feel. I feel like they're above me strength wise. I would have to work real hard to be up with them, and I'm being a slacker.
Then you have to get off your ass and
Yeah.
actually do something.
I
Well,
do.
you're really strong now. I think that if you put in like the next 6 to 8 months or whatever we have till then,
I know,
you're
'cause-
going to be
okay,
awesome.
so
You're going to be
it was
even
funny,
stronger. You're not
I-
going to,
I had a conversation with Joyce before, and she was like, "Well, what kind of protein are you taking, or what kind?" And I was like, "I don't take anything." She goes, "You don't take anything?" And I'm like, "Nothing at all." And she's like, "Well, anything's gonna work for you then. Like,
well, this
what
is
are
it.
you
If
doing,
you
right?"
just start your
And
baseline,
literally, I'm all natural.
yeah, which is
all the
great,
way around.
fantastic. Like I am not somebody who is a promoter of pumping ourselves up with unnatural substances. I do see that out there. You know,
yeah, it's out there for
So
sure.
someone has a question for you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that?
Pauline, is there someone you want a super match with?
Oh, geez.
That's a good question.
Well, there's this. I don't want to super match with them, but I'm interested in pulling with this new blonde lady from
Stacy.
from the fair, the Hands Fair, and I'm just looking for.
I don't know if she's ready for you.
But
Yes.
I'm looking forward to nationals and just having hopefully a wider range of women to pull with that are closer to where I'm at. Like for me, Marisha and I are pretty close here. And then when I pulled with Tamara, she won the super match, but I was able to stop her. We slipped out once. And to me, I was like, oh my God, like that's a success right there. I was able to, like, I have never gone to the straps with anyone. Like usually it's either been me winning all the way or someone beating me all the way, and not a really good, don't want to say struggle, but yeah.
You went into a
I
tough
think-
grinding
but-
pull.
Yeah, I would like that.
I think you and Tamara would have been a better matchup. Once you have a little bit more ready goes under your belt.
Tamara beat her on
because-
experience.
Absolutely, because strength wise, like I know, like when you're pulling Paula, like she's using fingers in another hand, right? And they battle, right? So
I can beat Tamara's left.
Yeah.
But I can't beat her right.
Okay.
So
something
that's
to work on. There
yeah.
you go. See, that would be a good one right there.
yeah.
So are you-
I go up against Tamara again.
Okay. We'll keep that in mind. So you're having fun though in your
I love
year and a half?
I love it. Yeah.
And you're not discouraged? You feel like you're getting better and
I'll admit there have been nights that I've left practice sometimes, and it's like I feel like I haven't learned anything. Like you feel like I've gone to square one. But you know what? That kind of stuff is going to happen. That happens in your life in anything. And I just try to look beyond that and like show up the next time, and it's a different experience.
But you also got to understand there's people that have been in the sport 10, 20, whatever years, and they're still learning. So don't don't let that like, make you go blank, right? Like just take it in as another piece of information, right? And then just store it into what you want to apply, right? Like the way you want to apply it, right? So don't let that.
So far, the enthusiasm is there, and I have a lot of support at home, and I really like having goals. So like having something to work towards, like super match or nationals or a tournament, like that really motivates me.
Okay.
So
good.
And if I sign up or I put it on the calendar, it's happening.
It's not a bad thing. Not a bad thing. But we've gone
Very
since we started late.
There's another question.
Oh, there's another because we've gone way long.
Why,
What-
what time is it?
What's the next competition that you both are training for?
They're pulling each other.
It's a belt match.
Battle of the Atlantic,
love it.
October 22nd.
See, but I
But that's-
love that stuff. I don't take it. To me,
well, this is
Yeah.
it's not personal.
No, I think
no.
it's going to be great.
We train
so,
together.
Yeah. So it's just in Dartmouth at Parkside Pub, and
Yeah.
public are allowed to come watch. The belt matches are at 11 a.m. and then to 12, and then after 12, it's open.
Yeah, the amateur. There's juniors and amateur, and I think, or
And
I,
then elite.
I don't remember. Battle of the Atlantic is does Rick do amateur and elite, or does he just do Battle of the Atlantic weight classes? I looked and read the poster. I made a poster for him, but I didn't read it. I just made a poster for it.
I forget.
And I know I didn't list weight classes on it anyways. Too much information, but.
Yeah, so that's
And
the next
October
one.
22nd in Dartmouth. That's the next competition that
Yeah.
both these ladies are going to be participating in. And yes, I will be there to film it. And until tonight, I thought I was actually going to live stream the belt matches. But now here we got another camera doesn't work. So
Yeah, so we'll see.
I'll just, I have no idea what went wrong tonight. Like not a clue. It's becoming so frustrating that we may not do live shows anymore. I'll just tape them and then premiere them at Sunday night at 7:00. Might be easier.
Well, I told him he should do the uncensored. You should see Rob after practice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And with the handheld, that would be great shows. You think Beer Man's good. You should see Rob. Everything's corruption.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Rob's going to
shit.
love you.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
What's he saying?
Everyone
Oh,
else
no,
would
he-
love it too. You should see
What
it.
is
Rob
it?
wants you to win the national.
Win the nationals, yeah, and then
I want to win them too, babe. Let's do it.
I want to pull at the nationals. I'd love to win, and if I win, awesome. But
your goal should be for the nationals, your first nationals, just to win a match.
yeah, well, if I win,
Win a match.
Well, that was my goal at Toronto. I was like, I didn't know if Heidi and Sarah were going to be in there. I thought Jocelyn was going to be.
She was
So
supposed to be there, wasn't she?
she was. And then I was like, well, hey, it is what it is, right? If I can just win a match, I'm happy with that.
What?
It's fun having live stream and being able to ask questions.
Yeah, that's
And I don't disagree with you. We're just having so much friggin' technical bullshit going wrong here. Like it's
It went
unbelievable.
all wrong,
to
but
me.
now it's all right.
so if he keeps the live stream, if it's a little late, just stay tuned.
Yeah, because it's not like we were just sitting here. Oh, let's just make them wait.
No.
Like, we
No,
don't-
for me and Pauline, it was like looking over and they were instantly getting redder and redder. and
angrier,
redder in the face
frustration.
as they calmly talk to each other.
Well, you know what though? So after
So
34
funny.
years of marriage, me yelling at her is not going to make it any better,
Oh no.
right? And I learned that a long time ago. I can yell and scream at people if that's what would work, but
No,
it doesn't work anytime.
That would just make someone more discouraged.
Yeah. So
Things would go
it's not
wrong.
that I'm giving up on the live stream. I am a fan of the live stream, but we're just having so much crap. And
Then you see live bloopers,
yeah, and
the F-bombs.
the F-bombs, and we're getting tired of spending money, and the shit ain't working.
Yeah.
Actually, my wife's getting tired of me spending money, and the shit ain't working. That's and I'm not trying to spend any money, but every time you turn around, it's fucking laptop isn't working or camera's not
Yeah.
working. I got 8 video cameras upstairs in my office. You think I can get one of them to communicate with the computer? No.
He needs more subscribers.
We like her.
Members?
Members, subscribers, super
Share.
chats, shares, likes. We need the likes.
Pay for all that equipment.
You have absolutely no idea.
He just needs some cheerleaders back there.
I brought them in tonight.
Yeah.
Janice, get over here.
Yeah. So we appreciate all the hard work everyone puts in. I wish everyone could get properly compensated for all the hard work. Look, and I mean, that would be great, of course, but we don't do this to be compensated properly. We do this for a love of arm wrestling. It'd be nice if my expenses were covered.
Yeah.
I'd be happy with that. Like
I
I'm
think they should be.
not looking to make money off of this. It'd be nice if all my expenses were covered. So, and the membership and the super chats, that allows me to get out to more tournaments. That's all it does. It's
Builds the library.
for me to go to a tournament almost anywhere that I can drive to costs $1,000.
Yeah.
Where are you going next, Scott?
Where am I going next? I'm going to the New England Championships in Boston in about a week and a half. October 8th, I think, is the date of that tournament. I'll be in Boston filming that, and then we'll be back here covering the Battle of the Atlantic, October 22nd. November 12th, I will be in Ottawa covering Eric Roussin's tournament. And then we'll be back in November for the Superman tournament. And then some little bird whispered in my ear, there's talk of some basement battles coming up.
I
One more
think I might
basement
want to do
battles
a Christmas basement battles.
event.
Yeah.
We'll have
And,
some super matches.
and we only have,
Have some things.
Scott
in
only
mind.
has one date open.
Yep, December 4th.
One. Only that's the only date. I'm going to see my grandchildren. Hi, Everly and Bethany. I know you're not watching because your mom and dad wouldn't let you watch this kind of foolishness, but and I think that's it. And I think we need to wrap up because we're way late. Your husband's probably here to
Yeah,
pick you up
he-
again.
Is he here? Oh,
He's probably
What
sitting
time is
outside
it?
in the
It's
car.
all
It's
good.
20,
8:30.
25 to 9.
oh.
Yeah, well, we started 15, 20 minutes late and then whatever. So just to wrap up, we didn't solve any issues. What are we going to do to try and get more women involved?
Well, we're all going to share this video.
Okay,
Everyone share it on your
Yep.
social media.
there you go.
Sorry, I'm
Hey,
speaking
no,
for you.
that's
Find
all
a
good.
local club. Start there. Find a local club nearest you. See when the next amateur tournaments are coming around. And then just
Come
get
out on the
moving there.
22nd. Watch it live.
There you go.
There you go. Even
Okay.
that.
And this time next week, we are have another live show planned. We have a couple of the newer guys that are training out of the Sackville Club where you first started. Andrew Yakimovich and Andreas Lumers will be our guests. And we're going to talk about some of the new people that have gotten into arm wrestling and what's appealed to them. Also coming up on the channel on Monday, we've got a rare video, 1985 World Wrist Wrestling Championships from Petaluma.
Wow.
I've also got Krasimir Konstantinov Spotlight coming up. King of the Klondike from 1984 is going to air this next week. And then a couple of super matches. We got Devon versus Earl Wilson, big match from Gloucester Fair back in the early 2000s. And the first time I attended an Arm Wars over in Manchester, England, got a match from there. Munster Michael Todd versus Tommy Kokata from Sweden. So some good stuff coming up next week for you to tune into. I hope you enjoyed our discussion tonight. I do appreciate both Pauline and Angela giving up their Sunday nights, especially Angela giving up a bingo night.
We won't talk about that.
Oh.
It was a big bingo this week.
Oh, shit. She lost big money.
Yeah. I contemplated canceling all damn day, to be truthful.
Oh, she
But
couldn't,
see,
she couldn't do that.
She couldn't cancel on him.
but if you have any questions, you need any help trying to recruit more women, women equals more women, we will help. We like helping.
You can reach
so-
them on Nova Scotia Arm Wrestling on Facebook. You can
Mhm.
reach them through Timberley Gladiators also on Facebook. You can reach them fairly easily.
Yeah,
through
Angela
Facebook.
McNamara.
Pauline Surkan.
So if you need us, you know where you can get in contact with us. Come on, women.
So you should come over so that we can end it. But that's all the time we have for tonight because we're way late and we're trying not to keep them too long. We've been live for an hour and 20 minutes. And thanks, folks. Have a good night.
Ciao.
See you later.
So you're the person I need